Hello, good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News on 3FM 92.7. My name is Beatrice Adu. The news is also live on Kasmi 107.1 FM and across the world at 3news.com. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Renowned private legal practitioner Chachu Chikata urges individuals and organizations calling on President Mahama to declare a state of emergency to be measured in their demands. Also in this bulletin, Teachers and Educational Workers Union of the Trades Union Congress suspends nationwide strike following a breakthrough in negotiations with the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission. Acting Chief Justice Paul Bafuboni admonishes judges to swiftly adjudicate cases of illegal mining and drug-related offences. And much later on the program, National Council of Parent-Teacher Associations reject new GES guidelines for the return of PTAs in schools. We'll tell you why. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. Renowned private legal practitioner Chachu Chikata has urged individuals and organizations calling on President John Mahama to declare a state of emergency on illegal mining to be measured in their demands. He says declaring a state of emergency has its own ramifications. He spoke to me earlier last night on TV3's Agenda.
I think that is looking at it too narrowly from the perspective of just enforcement action, because something of this nature can't be dealt with by just deploying troops or by just, and that's why in my mind, if you just started, it would be the easiest thing for the president to say, I'm declaring a state of emergency because of Galamsey. That's a proclamation he can make under the constitutional and the statutory provisions.
Yes.
But even after you make that declaration, how are you going to implement your enforcement capabilities, and what is the capacity that you have, both in terms of even the state of the economy that we have, the resources that are available to the government to be able to deploy in that manner. But I think there's an even more severe problem that we should deal with. You see, declaring a state of emergency, and you will notice that in the Constitution, emergency powers are dealt with in the chapter that has to do with human rights. When you declare a state of emergency, it actually gives the power to the president to do things which in the normal course he would not have the ability to do.
And you had the renowned private legal practitioner Chachu Chikata. But also on the same program was former Attorney General Ni Ayikwe Otu, who blamed the government for the present situation since the then opposition NDC campaigned on the back of the crisis, promising to end the menace when elected into office.
More like NDC MPP matter. But this is a matter that we say affects everybody, and we should do all we can to put a stop to it. So I wouldn't say that it worsened just because during that time it ought not have started at all. And we knew of small-scale mining many years back in Akwitia and the rest. So who gave them that audacity to go into, water bodies and now start doing their whatever crude refineries in the water? Weren't people doing some kind of small-scale mining many years back? So why was it that during their time, before 2017, why did we have Galamsey? If what we are saying is the position, why did we have Galamsey? We had it. It shouldn't be there, but it was there. That is what we want to look at. We must stop it. Find a way of stopping it. That is all.
And you heard that former Attorney General Ni Ayikwe Otu still on this. Acting Chief Justice Paul Bafuboni has admonished judges to swiftly adjudicate cases of illegal mining and drug-related offences, defying political, social or corporate influences. Speaking at the annual meeting of the Association of Magistrates and Judges, the acting CJ said that plans are underway to introduce specialised court for Galamsey cases.
The judicial mandate and responsibility in relation to Galamsey, environmental degradation and drug abuse. As members of the judiciary, we are not policymakers and we do not build the enforcement powers of the executive. Yet our constitutional role is neither passive nor peripheral. We are the guardians of justice, custodians of the law, and interpreters of the nation's conscience. So our responsibilities in confronting these challenges include upholding the law. We must ensure that prosecutions related to illegal mining and drug trafficking and abuse are handled with seriousness, impartiality, and urgency.
And you had the acting Chief Justice Paul Bafuboni. Lord Edwasari is our court affairs correspondent. He's covering this annual meeting. He joins us live on the phone. Lord, what more can you tell us beyond what we heard the acting CJ say?
Right, so Beatrice, basically the theme for the meeting by the Association of the Magistrates and Judges was leveraging technology for justice delivery. Now, after his speech, one key thing that the acting Chief Justice Paul Bafuboni talked about was the fact that there's been the abuse of drugs, even among, according to him, judges. He indicated that the drugs such as NSAIDs, painkillers, tend to be abused by the judges just so it can help them or enhance their work. And he indicated that all these will have to be looked at for optimal care if they want to live long. And the fact that there's a need for the whole issue of drug abuse to be nipped in the bud. He indicated that as far as things go, they are going to reintroduce or introduce courts that will specialize hearing of Galamsey cases and then drug-related matters, which you heard him indicate earlier. Then there was the issue of the Attorney General, Dr. Dominic Aine. He also made some indications that there was the need for judges in themselves to also be critical in the justice delivery, devoid of political influence, social or corporate influence as well. He talked about the fact that as far as technology is concerned, cybersecurity is an issue, and so that will also have to be looked at. Key among things that he indicated was the fact that the use of artificial intelligence, if over-relied on, especially by lawyers, may lead to them citing wrong authorities in their arguments, as has been indicated or reported in other countries. He called for the introduction of a legal framework to guide the use of artificial intelligence in the courtrooms and other sectors as well, Beatrice.
Thank you very much, Lord Edwasari. He's our court affairs correspondent and also a man following that annual meeting where the acting CJ Justice Paul Bafuboni, as well as the Attorney General, are there speaking about the way forward on the illegal mining menace. The Teachers and Educational Workers Union, TEU, has suspended its nationwide strike following a breakthrough in negotiations with the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission. TEU declared an indefinite nationwide strike on the 19th of September over conditions of service. At a press conference, TEU General Secretary King James Azotiba announced that the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission has committed to fast-tracking discussions aimed at addressing the union's concerns. As a result, TEU is directing all of its members to return to work on Thursday, the 2nd of October 2025, to ensure the smooth running of schools across the country.
To proceed with the negotiations conclude and sign the various conditions of service of the affected institutions and affected institutions of the table of TUC membership. This form part of the agreed issues with the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission during our engagement. Friends from the media and our cherished members, as a result of the positive development, TU has decided to suspend the indefinite strike action with effect from today, Wednesday, the 1st of October 2025, to allow for further discussions and implementation of the agreed terms. All TU members in the aforementioned institutions are expected to resume work by Thursday, the 2nd of October 2025.
And you had the General Secretary of TU, King James Azotiba. We have our Labour Affairs correspondent, Daniel Opoku, in the studio with us. Daniel, if you can just take us a little back as regards what brought this strike in the first place.
Right, so before the 2024 elections, the leadership of TEGU had then started negotiations with the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, but unfortunately they could not agree on that. But Fair Wages was able to conclude with other public sector unions. So a meeting was scheduled early part of this year, but unfortunately that meeting could not be able to solve their problems. So what they decided to do, consistently they earlier had written a lot of letters to the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission. So when all those letters and all those reminders fell on deaf ears, they decided to embark on a nationwide strike. So actually they began the strike on the 19th of September, just sending it across to government. The government must pay their allowances, promotions should be done, and also conditions of service and negotiations should begin to be able to finalize all these. But basically that was the reason they went on a strike.
So when they say there was a breakthrough in negotiations, how should we take that?
Right, so on Monday, just this past Monday, they had a meeting with Fair Wages and Salaries Commission. The commission gave them a strong commitment that they will be able to finish the negotiations by the close of October this year. So hopefully next week they are going to begin a series of negotiations. You know, there are about 4 institutions under TEGU. You have those at the Ghana Library Board, the public institution, the senior high schools, i.e. the Ghana Education Service. They are going to begin negotiations one after the other. So the breakthrough basically has to do with the commitment from government to get their monies paid to them before the close of next week.
Now what you're saying is that the negotiations, there are going to be phases of the negotiations next week.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, if what Mr. Azotiba said is right, he's calling members to even call off the strike before they continue with the negotiations.
Exactly, because the position of the law does not allow you to still be on strike whilst engaging in negotiations. In that case, you are just tiring the hands of the other party. So basically, they have to call off the strike, then resume negotiations, or go to the negotiations table to be able to conclude by next week. And all those who left the jurisdiction prior or during the days of the strike, hopefully by next week, Monday, everybody should come to work. But those who live within the vicinity of Accra should go to work tomorrow, the 2nd of October.
Thank you very much, Daniel Opoku. And Daniel Opoku is our Labour Affairs correspondent. Some 14 minutes past the hour of 12. When we come back, we'll bring you some more about the National Council of Parent-Teacher Associations and what it is pushing for. Don't go away.
Ghana. It's a new year and Bills Microcredit is here to support your dreams. If you're not working but want to start a business, don't let money stop you. With just your Ghana card, you can get a loan to turn your ideas into reality. Already running a business? Need more capital? Or are you a salary worker looking for extra funds? Bills offers fast and easy loans with no collateral, no deposit, and no SUSI savings required. Wherever you are, whatever you need, Bills makes it happen. Call Bills Microcredit today. Call 0596-920-833 or 0302-200-390 and get started. Bills is licensed and regulated by the Bank of Ghana. Bills, financing your needs. Terms and conditions apply.
And you're still here on the Midday News on Sri FM 92.7. Thank you for staying. Now, the National Council of Parent Teacher Associations is pushing back against new guidelines from the Ministry of Education and the Ghana Education Service, calling them illegal and overreaching. In a strongly worded statement, the NCPTA says that the Ministry and GES have no legal authority to regulate PTA operations. The Ministry of Education and the Ghana Education Service outlined some new guidelines for the return of PTA in schools. And let me just run you through some of those. That only parent or guardians with wards enrolled in a particular school can serve as PTA members or executives. Again, executives may serve 2 terms of 2 years each at the basic level and 1 2-term at the secondary level. Well, it's also said that all PTA accounts will be audited annually by the Auditor General, with annual reports submitted to various regional and district education offices. Also, school heads must approve before PTA executives sign checks to access the PTA account. And the new guidelines, the last one here that I'll read to you, that teachers are banned from collecting PTA levies or being signatories to PTA account. Of course, we'll bring you some more in our subsequent bulletins, but the council argues that parent-teacher associations are voluntary groups registered under the Companies Act and not subject to control by statutory education bodies. The statement signed by General Secretary Gabson Kofi Raphael described the move as ultra-virus and warned that the guidelines are void and without legal backing. And let's speak to him now. He joins us live on the phone. Good afternoon to you, sir. Thank you once again for joining us.
Good afternoon, Beatrice, and good afternoon to you and your cherished listeners.
You mentioned
parents who are listening to us.
You mentioned the issue of jurisdiction. Why do you believe that the MOE and GES, as in the Ministry of Education and Ghana Education Service, have overstepped their legal boundaries?
Thank you very much, Beatrice. I think that when you read our press statement, it is clear that school-based PTA executives across the country, together with our regional and national officers, together are on the same page on this matter. When you read the Pre-Tertiary Education Act 2020, Act 1049, and then the Education Regulatory Bodies Act, there's nowhere in that space, and also the 1992 Constitution, there's nowhere in that space that says that statutory bodies can regulate non-statutory bodies. Statutory bodies are mandated by law to work framework that it confers to them by the powers that regulate their internal operations. PTAs, on the other hand, are voluntary and non-statutory bodies registered under the Companies Act 2019, Act 992. Their establishment, governance, and operations fall strictly within the scope of their constitution and the registration framework, and not under the control of the GS or the Ministry of Education. So that is why we are saying that they've acted ultra-virus and they've gone beyond their mandate, and they cannot regulate a space that they have no control over.
Having described the action of the GES and the Ministry of Education this way, you call it ultra-virus. What legal steps, if any, do you intend taking if these guidelines are enforced?
Well, you know, last year, the previous administration tried to issue a similar guideline. And then, as we speak, it has been thrown down to the dustbin of history. And we thought that our current colleagues who are in government, who we together with Ghanaians put them there, were together with us on the same page that yes, that was wrong and it was an affront. And they've also come and they've rather gone back to that same guidelines, which was a 14-page document, and they've reduced it to a 10-page document to issue. Our next step will not put it in the public domain, but when we get to the brief, we will definitely cross.
All right, well, I have to end it here. Thank you very much for joining us. But anyway, sorry, before you go, though, what exactly are you warning the government about? Is this about loss of public interest or something more?
I didn't get that part.
I was asking because you referenced what happened last year as well, and you seem to be giving some warning, and just wondering whether this is about a loss of public trust or something else.
Of course, if government goes ahead to do that, what it means is that they are overreaching their mandate. They must respect the law and avoid overreaching into PTA affairs or risk state capture. You know, power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. And then we live in a country that we are governed by rule of law, and the law is the law. So we make sure that nobody takes absolute control over systems that they don't have absolute control over. And the PTAs are being regulated by us as a national council. If they cannot go and regulate the activities of NAT, NAGRA, TEU, and all those educational associations, because they don't have that mandate, we are all a creature of the Companies Act 2019. So they should allow us the space to regulate. If they have concerns, they can bring it up and we can sit down and address those concerns. And I'm saying that our constitution says that PTA executive tenure is 3 years of another opportunity for another 2 terms, depending on the situation on the ground. If the person's child is in the school, you can reduce it to 2 years because it breaches our constitution. And constitutional laws are more powerful than administrative laws. So that is what we are standing on to say that what they are doing is illegal, and we are calling up our members who have signed across. The school-based PTA people that they are referencing to, they are not their constituents. They don't work under them. They don't take directives from them. So they cannot regulate a space that they have no control over.
Thank you so much, sir, for speaking to us.
Thank you. I'm most grateful.
And he had there a General Secretary of the National Council of Parent-Teacher Associations, Gapsin Kofi Raphael. Now, the Inspector General of Police, Christian Tetoyono, is defending the closure of police stations in communities where irate youth have launched attacks. Responding to questions about the shutdown of police stations after the closure of the Kukuntumi police station in the Eastern region and subsequent withdrawal of personnel from the town after angry youth attacked the facility, Mr. Yono condemned these attacks and emphasized that communities must take ownership in building and protecting police stations rather than attacking them.
We all have to condemn the acts of irate youths always attacking police stations. There's a community in this country where we have one police station which is a divisional headquarters being built by government. And then we have another that is the district headquarters being built by the locals themselves. When they were going to attack, they went to the building that was built by the government, they burned the building down. They came to their local building, and somebody said, no, this one, it was the MP who built it, so let us not touch it. So they didn't touch it. And so today, when you are in your area and you are asking us, we should come and open a police station, we'll ask you to build a police station yourself. And it is when you build a police station, and all those areas where there are these disturbances, they never attack the stations that were built by the community themselves. And it is not good for this country. And so if you ask of closing down, yes, we'll close down because you have destroyed the station.
And he had that, the Inspector General of Police, Christian Tetoyono, and we do apologize for the quality of that sound. President John Mahama says Ghana will continue its collaboration with foreign partners in clamping down on romance scam. He said that with the explosion of in digital space cybercrime, cybercrime has become more sophisticated, with Ghanaians who are cyber conscious also being scammed. President Mahama spoke at the launch of the Cyber Security Awareness Month just a while ago.
I wish that all our citizens will be that aware that your bank won't call you, your telecom provider won't call you and ask for your personal details. And so this is a very important month and a program. Some are romance scams, and recently we've been collaborating with our international partners when evidence is gathered and it's proven that people are involved in romance scams. Using our extradition treaties, we ship the culprits back. And so we'll continue to collaborate with all our global partners. Anybody involved in romance scams, whether you are a foreigner or you are a Ghanaian citizen, we will hand you over to be tried and punished accordingly. This October, Ghana will take another historic step. Will ratify and sign the United Nations Convention on Cybercrime. This treaty equips us with new tools to investigate attacks, prosecute cyber criminals, and protect critical information infrastructure. Notably, Ghana has led efforts to include provisions against online child sexual exploitation and has emphasized the importance of applying international human rights law in cyberspace.
And you had President Mahama at the launch of the Cybersecurity Month. The Interior Minister, Mohamed Muntaka Mubarak, also announced that through international agencies such as Interpol and the Ghana Police Service, Ghana has arrested some 68 cyber criminals and seized over 885 electronic devices.
A major initiative led by the Interpol, which brought together 14 African member states to combat cybercrime and dismantle transnational criminal network across the continent and beyond. I'm pleased to note that Ghana distinguished itself during this operation by emerging among the top performing countries. Our cyber crime unit successfully arrested 68 suspected cyber criminals, identified 108 victims, and seized over 885 electronic devices linked to illicit activities. This remarkable achievement underscores the unwavering commitment of the government of Ghana to safeguarding our digital space, protecting our citizens, and contributing to the global fight against cybercrime.
And you had there the Interior Minister, Mohamed Muntaka Mubarak. The Ghana Railway Development Authority has announced plans to lift the ban on train services on the Accra-Tema Railway line, paving the way for passengers to resume their journeys to and from Accra. Meanwhile, the Ghana Railway Development Authority has started its passenger train services to the general public beginning today from Tema in Pakadan to Adome in the eastern region. My colleague Joseph Armstrong joined the Ghana Railway Development Authority and brought us this report.
So it's the first time we are running the passenger service train from Tema to Afenya and from Afenya to Adome, and we are told that only 15 cities from Tema to Afenya, and from Afenya to Adome we get to pay 25 cities. But let's get more details on what to do on the train, how to get to the washroom, whether you can eat on the train, and the do's and don'ts. Let's get into the technicalities of what exactly can be done on the train. So, good morning. You are live on TV3. Explain to us what we are to know about this train. We've seen a washroom. Some people are asking, is it more or less like another driver's area? Can they access that place? Where can passengers exactly enter into? Let's start from the beginning.
All right, thank you very much. This is the Tema to Mpakada Railway line, currently being trialed by the Ghana Railway Development Authority. Yes, direct to your questions. When you get on board, you can first we have wash-up areas all over in at the stations. Passengers in the concourses are able to use them before boarding the train. As soon as something happens that you are on board and you want to use, we have fully operational toilets facilities on board the train.
Anybody at all can use?
It's for passengers.
Is it for free?
You are on board, you've paid to board the train, so yes, naturally, any facility on it is for you to use. It's for free.
We saw some people eating wachi, we saw some people eating, what's the name? A lot of other things. Is it allowed to eat on the train?
We encourage people not to. In every community area or public space, you shouldn't be eating in public where others may not want the smell of the food you enjoy. On these trains, we would not encourage people to eat on them.
Joseph Armstrong, we found that report. My name is Beatrice Adu. Thank you very much for joining us on the Midday News today on 3FM 92.7. Log on to 3news.com for more news. Have a good afternoon.
Accra, Ghana, Africa, and worldwide. Join us on Inspirational Gospel Mix this and every Sunday, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. 3FM.
King of kings and Lord of lords, lover of my soul, Jehovah, one and only God. I am Jesus Christ, the Holy Lamb.
92.7 3FM. Your urban lifestyle radio.
What is your favorite scripture?
Hello there, good afternoon. Welcome to Business Daily here on 3FM 92.7. Coming up, Ghana records single-digit inflation for the first time in 4 years as rate falls sharply to 9.4% in September, entering Bank of Ghana's target band. We hear from government statistician Dr. Al-Hassan Idrisu.
The September inflation marks the 9th consecutive month of decline in inflation. And it is also the lowest we have seen since August 2021.
And President John Mahama pledges stronger global partnerships against cybercrime as Ghana prepares to ratify UN Cybersecurity Convention.
We'll continue to collaborate with all our global partners. Anybody involved in romance scams, whether you are a foreigner or you are a Ghanaian citizen, we will hand you over to be tried.
Plus, Ghana Stock Exchange posts gains on key equities despite low market activity on Monday's trading session. We'll bring you details shortly. I am Michael Obodu. Please stay tuned. Thank you so much for your time. Straight into our top story. Now, annual consumer inflation has decisively entered single-digit territory, dropping to 9.4% in September 2025. This brings the rate within Bank of Ghana's medium-term target band of 8% plus or minus 2, a significant milestone in the country's economic stabilization efforts. The September figure represents a sharp decline from the 11.5% recorded in August and is the lowest inflation rate the nation has seen since August 2021. The government statistician Dr. Al-Hassan Idrisu noted that the development shows the pressure driving inflation over the past months are declining.
Prices in September this year were about 9.4% higher than in September last year. On a month-on-month basis, however, if you took just the period between August 2025 and September 2025, that's just between 2 months, that's August and September. That's what we call the month-on-month. We saw prices increasing by 0.9%. The September inflation marks the 9th consecutive month of decline in inflation, and it is also the lowest we have seen since August 2021. To appreciate the scale of this progress, consider the path over the past 1 year. In December 2024, inflation was 23.8%. By August 2025, it had dropped to 11.5%. Now, in September 2025, we are at 9.4%.
That was government statistician Dr. Al-Hassan Idrisu. Now, President John Dramani Mahama says Ghana will continue its collaboration with foreign partners in clamping down on cyber attacks. According to the president, with the explosion in the digital space, cybercrime has become more sophisticated, with Ghanaians who are cyber conscious also being scammed. Speaking at the launch of the Cybersecurity Awareness Month, President Mahama stated that Ghana will ratify and sign the UN United Nations Convention on Cybercrime.
I wish that all our citizens will be that aware that your bank won't call you, your telecom provider won't call you and ask for your personal details. And so this is a very important month and a program. Some are romance scams, and recently we've been collaborating with our international partners when evidence is gathered and it's proven that people are involved in romance scams. Using our extradition treaties, we ship the culprits back. And so we'll continue to collaborate with all our global partners. Anybody involved in romance scams, whether you are a foreigner or you are a Ghanaian citizen, we will hand you over to be tried and punished accordingly. This October, Ghana will take another historic step. We'll ratify and sign the United Nations Convention on cybercrime. This treaty equips us with new tools to investigate attacks, prosecute cyber criminals, and protect critical information infrastructure. Notably, Ghana has led efforts to include provisions against online child sexual exploitation and has emphasized the importance of applying international human rights law in cyberspace.
President John Dramani Mahama. The Ghana Stock Exchange concluded Monday's trading session on an optimistic trajectory, with the market's main indices posting further advances. There is more in this report.
The GSE Composite Index climbed to 8,168.35 points, pushing its impressive year-to-date return to 67.09%. Similarly, the GSE Financial Stock Index experienced a modest rise, settling at 3,799.31 points, translating to a 59.58% year-to-date gain. This positive movement helped lift the total market capitalization to 162.59 billion cedis. Despite the index gains, Monday's session was marked by a significant drop in trading volumes, signaling potential caution among investors. A total of 1,016,588 shares were traded, representing a sharp 50.82% decline from the previous season. The total value of these trades was in excess of amounted to 4 billion cedis. MTN Ghana remained the most actively traded stock, dominating the session by accounting for 548,107 shares, valued at 2.38 billion cedis. Other stocks seeing active trade included Fan Milk Limited, Ecobank, Transnational Incorporated, Kyle Bank, and Republic Bank Ghana.
And that was a 3 Business News Desk report. Now, non-interest banking is not a competitive threat to the establishment of the financial sector, established financial sector, but a necessary complement designed to enhance financial inclusion across the country, according to the Director General of the Islamic Finance Research Institute of Ghana, Dr. Ali Shaibu. Dr. Shaibu, who leads the non-profit organization focused on promoting ethical financial systems, highlighted that the primary goal of non-interest banking is to work alongside the conventional banking system.
The core benefit of non-interest banking is the improved financial inclusion that this model offers. By operating on principles of risk-sharing and ethical investment, which prohibit charging or paying interest, the system aims to draw in segments of the population that are either religiously inclined against interest-based transactions or excluded by the conventional system structure.
The non-interest banking system accommodates the system that we have. So that's why we call it an alternative system, coming to complement it. The existing banks can just create a window within their system to accommodate it. Other countries have done it. It doesn't mean that the introduction of non-interest bank should come and collapse. Of course, it cannot collapse looking at the conventional bank and how long it has been in the system and how it's already working. So the non-interest banking is really coming to complement.
The adoption of non-interest finance instruments is seen as a vital step towards creating a more comprehensive and accessible financial landscape for all Ghanaians.
And that was a 3 Business News Desk report. Before we leave you, the number of jobs advertised in selected print and online media, which partially gauges labor demand in the economy, decreased in June 2025 relative to what was observed in the corresponding period a year ago, according to the July 2025 Monetary Policy Report by the Bank of Ghana. 2,502 job adverts were recorded as compared with 2,968 for the same period in 2024. This indicates a decline of 15.7% year on year. Similarly, on a month-on-month basis, the number of job vacancies in June 2025 dipped by 18.4% from the 3,066 jobs advertised in May 2025. And that'll be all for Business Daily here on 3FM 92.7. For more business stories, please visit our website at 3news.com/business. I am Michael Obodu. Thank you for listening. As always, please stay safe.